So my name is Anna Lepore, and I am a two-time both Miami Pro and Pure Elite Pro. Leading up to the show is peak week. Your head's kind of playing games with you, if you're lean enough, if you're full enough, if your shape is right.
My name's Marnie Al-Saraf. I am 22 years old and I am studying at the University of Liverpool for a Bachelor of Science degree in Biomedical Sciences. This is my 4th year in the sport, and competing has taught me a lot about my mental strength and my willpower, and it's taught me a lot of things that I can apply to everyday life. With time management, number one, obviously being a university student and being a competitive athlete, to balance the two is no mean feat. Like, it is seriously difficult at times, but by managing my time, it means that I can enjoy both my competitive sport and also do well at university. Recently, competing has also taught me to trust the timing of my life, so not to rush things that aren't meant to be and give myself the time and space that I need. Like, bodybuilding's a marathon, it's not a sprint, so I want to be in this sport for the long haul. So, you know, if I'm not going to be ready for a show in 4 weeks, then I'm not going to force myself to do that. The stage is always going to be there, and that's something that I've learned the hard way. Last year I did the English Grand Prix and I went there with hopes of defending my title. I'm obviously going to defend my title because, you know, don't mess about. However, that didn't quite go to plan. And sometimes things aren't always going to go to plan. That is just the nature of bodybuilding. You have absolutely no control over who's going to turn up on the day. With that being said, the things that you can control, like I've just said, is timing. So giving yourself as long as possible or as long as you need, that's always going to help. Last year was the first prep that I did under the coaching of Team Box. So I'm more of like an evidence-based coaching approach rather than like bro bodybuilding through and through. So last year things didn't quite go to plan. However, the fact that I was dealing with a brand new prep method and my first year of university and various other different things, you know, sometimes you do have to just trust the timing of your life, and it was more than anything a learning curve. Of course I was disappointed, but you never lose, you either win or you learn from the situation. So I took that experience and now I'm going forward into a new season, and I'm really looking forward to what this season might bring. Phoebe's amazing. I remember when I first met her actually at the 2016 English Grand Prix, and she has literally come on leaps and bounds as an athlete. Like, it's so inspiring, and I think in this industry, like, it's so amazing the relationships that you form with other athletes and just that atmosphere backstage. Like, at the end of the day, it's a hobby to all of us, and that is one thing that we all have in common. And I think bikini girls just get bikini girls on a different level, and yeah, she's amazing. She's gonna absolutely smash this season. I'm so excited for her, and to see her on stage at Body Power as well. She's looking incredible on Instagram, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her compete, and yeah, she's absolutely smashing her prep.
My name is Phoebe Hagan and I'm with my coach Rob, and we are going to be talking about peak week training today, and we're also going to be going through a leg session, my last leg session for my competition, which is in 6 days.
Now we've been reassessing Phoebe's physique for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks and manipulating things every day. And when I say manipulating things, we only change things ever so slightly. So we might add in 10, 15 grams of carbs, we might add in 5 minutes cardio, 10 minutes cardio extra. So heading into peak week, I know that Phoebe is pretty much ready for her show. If her show was in 2 days' time, I'd be very confident that she would do extremely well. So this week, all we're trying to do now is just lower the cardio that she's on to make sure there's any water in her legs will be expelled and she hasn't got holding any water in her legs, and gradually increase those carbs to fill out her physique. We're not manipulating any kind of sodium, we're not manipulating any kind of potassium, we're not trying to be doctors. All we're trying to do is really reduce the water that she holds through cardio, which is called edema, which is water retention within the legs. So that is the best way to do that, is just pull off cardio a little bit. And then we're just going to gradually increase her carbs and try and fill out her physique. And we're going to reassess that every single day. So every single day Phoebe will send me pictures and she'll send me videos just to make sure we're absolutely on point when show day comes.
Yeah. Training doesn't really change a lot, does it?
No.
We're not trying to get PBs or strength. I mean, strength should stay as much as possible, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So all we're trying to do with this week now with training is, it's almost just ticking boxes.
Yeah.
You know, because at this stage you're pretty much ready. The thing we have to be careful with in this week is that we don't overexert yourself, because your joints and your tendons and your ligaments will be really weak.
Okay, cool.
Because they'll be very dry because you're really lean, so they won't have any fat around them as a cushion. So in this week we're just trying to sort of tick boxes, go through the motions almost, because as I said, you're ready. So what you're not trying to do is trying to hit PBs.
So. Definitely. What a lot of people think is when peak week comes around, you've got to change training dramatically and do loads of reps and do loads of light weights, which isn't the case. Like we just said earlier, you've got to keep your strength up as much as possible, but not having going crazy and having PBs each session, if that makes sense.
What you'll hear a lot about in peak week is depletion workouts.
Yeah.
And what the theory behind that is muscles hold glycogen, which is your carbohydrate store, and you want to deplete that as much as possible and then fill it up with superficial amounts of carbs. And what that means is, in essence, you go very, very low carb, if not no carb, for 3 or 4 days, and then you'll go very, very high carb for the last couple of days to superficial fill those glycogen stores. What we try and do over the week is we try and push them glycogen stores up very, very slightly each day. So we never go zero carb, we never go depletion workout where you're doing hundreds and hundreds of reps. We keep training exactly the same, because as I said previously, you should be pretty much ready at 1 week out. So don't change things if you're ready, keep everything the same. All you're trying to do is just tick boxes almost and say, right, another push session done, another pull session done. The reason we don't train legs in that final week up to the show is because, as we all know, when you're training, sometimes you can have DOMs, and when you have DOMs, it's going to make you hold water, because DOMs will be a stress sort of symbol from the body. So what you're trying to do in that last week is take away the leg training, let your legs rest, and what you'll do with that is you'll find that your legs will bring more and more detail out because you're letting them rest and recover. So therefore on show day your legs should be really nice and crisp.
So we've spoken about food as in we're slowly adding in carbs, and this morning I did feel a little bit flat and a bit not great, but that is because my body hasn't had the amount of carbs that we're going to now push in, because we've been having refeeds slowly, bit by bit, to fill me back up, and now we're going to be adding in carbs the last 6 days to fill out my frame, which is going to be exciting to see.
When you are doing your carb load, use the carb sources that you've used throughout your prep. I see a lot of the time people will prep on things like potato and rice and oats, and then all of a sudden they'll chuck in things like rice cakes, which they haven't had throughout their whole prep. And the reason you stick with the carbs that you've used during prep is because you know that your body responds well to those carbs, or it should respond well to those carbs. If all of a sudden you start changing the sources of food that you're having, you're unsure really of how your body will respond. So you're almost playing a guessing game in that last week, which you don't want to do. So when you do start adding carbs, just adding more carbs of what you have been having. Don't change the source of those carbs, keep it the same.
Phoebe has a distinctive style that she likes to choose when she competes, so we kind of followed that same style, and we just kind of worked on the bikini in terms of what kind of detailing that she liked.